YouTube. This is the iPhone Air after over a month of use, and I'm gonna get straight to the point. The iPhone 17 is the better device for the majority of users, the majority of you. If you're an iPhone 17 Pro Max, 17 Pro style user, this is more than likely not the device for you. With that being said, no, this is not the phone of the many, but it is a device for the select few. And for the select few, you guys understand this device, and I don't really have to sell you on it, quote unquote. I don't sell phones anyway. Now, with that being said, let's talk about the biggest elephant around this device is the battery next to the price. We'll talk about that in a second. It's the smallest battery out of the entire lineup. And unfortunately, when Apple speaks about battery, they don't go into details. It's always just all day usage or whatever. And again, this was being sold next to it, which is this iPhone battery pack. Now, I've been traveling with this device recently. I literally just got back from LA at a YouTube event, and then last week I was in New York. So each time I travel, I carried this with me, and specifically when I went to LA, I had this thing in my pocket everywhere I went, just in case. I didn't have it on the device. I just had it in my pocket just in case. Now, with that being said, this was my go-to device to drill and to put to the test while traveling. Here's the reality around battery, right? And the truth. I did not need to use this. I had it just in case, but I did not need to. And here's the reason why. Number one, battery life is totally subjective amongst every user. I always got to say that. But take the flight. I get off the flight, catch the shuttle. I get in the Turo, which is a rental car, right? And most cars of today have a charging port, literally a USB-C charging port in there. Plug into that, get the Apple CarPlay going. Using GPS, I'm using this device consistently all of the time. FaceTiming, GPSing, all of the things that you do when you are using your device in the real world and not just stuck in the studio being a tech tuber, right? So again, plugged into the car while driving, doing my GPS and all that stuff, getting to the hotel, checking in and all of that. By the end of days, going to restaurants to get food and all that stuff, my battery wasn't like in the best condition, right? It's not like, oh, I got that super battery confidence, but I didn't make it. So I can just plug it in and top it up again, which is why in my accessory videos, I always show you guys like the top accessories for doing that, which number one, you guys are gonna have, MagSafe chargers, and for on the go, number two, you guys are gonna have real wall chargers. And then number three, there's all other type of power solutions. And yes, I know I owe you guys a top accessory video with the iPhone Air. I have some of the cases that I have in-house right here, Aramid fiber being like, a top pick. Obviously, this is such a minimal light phone. You want to keep it that way. And then I have something a little bit more protective from Urban Armor. And then we have that clear, case and things like that, as well as there are a ton of products to help maintain that power at a more cost-effective rate than this, right? And I'm pretty sure every tech YouTuber, I've seen them sell you on like an Anchor or something when speaking about this as an alternative with more milliampage and whatnot. You guys already know. If you don't, there'll be some things linked down in the description below. So back to battery, right? Heavy users, you guys are gonna destroy this battery, blow right through it. All those 17 Pro or those Pro Max typical users, you guys are gonna destroy this battery, right? Now my typical everyday users, which would typically get just the iPhone 17, you guys are gonna put pressure on this battery as well. Now, again, remember, I'm using this device while traveling or in my everyday life, like hardcore. I'm pushing on this thing. And again, I'm always going to need to charge it every day. Even right now, I'll show you guys, this is what I have left over from yesterday's day, which did include travel. I have 16% on my battery. So I obviously need to charge it today. I didn't charge it in the evening of yesterday because I was tired. I was traveling, flying, doing all this stuff, full events and then things like that. But that just goes to show the reality of the battery. Yes, with an asterisk, it is an all-day battery, but let's be realistic. Like, you know what I mean? At 5, 6 o'clock, I'm plugging in, topping it up, getting it through the day. Definitely was charging it like overnight just to make sure I could wake up with a full battery. And typically with my smartphones, I do not charge overnight. So that just goes to show that living with this device around battery was definitely different in comparison to what I'm used to, which is a Pro Max device. Now, the other elephant around this device, the price, right? This thing is priced at a very close price to a Pro or a Pro Max device. You literally could spend $100 more and get a Pro, or $200 more or whatever and get a Pro Max. And you can spend a little bit less and get the regular 17, which has a larger battery and more camera, right? So the price of this device, this is a premium device, even though it has its shortcomings of full battery milliampage, lack of cameras, lack of stereo speakers, right? You have to accept that. This is one of the best, most well-built iPhones in the lineup. Like, this thing is more durable than an iPhone 17 that you got, or more durable than the iPhone 17 Pro and 17 Pro Max, just to be frank. But that comes with the compromises and the reality. So again, this is only for the select few who are willing to pay that price premium for one of Apple's most well-designed and well-built iPhones. Again, it's a very niche, target. Now, for my people who this is for, right? Or for the people who just want to know a little bit more about this device and so on, and you are considering it, despite those big elephants that I just spoke about, right? Let me talk about the last elephant, right? The single camera. I got to be honest. The single camera is a restriction. Especially I was at the event and, it was an event where people were on stage, and in certain instances, they had QR codes and things that I need to take a photo or a picture of. So I was able to use the 2X in the photo mode to get closer and actually, get what I needed. But again, it's limited, right? If I'm in a situation where I need, telephoto reach, you basically are out of luck. You're not getting telephoto reach with this single camera. You're not doing everything. You're not replacing 3 cameras or replacing 2 cameras with this one single camera. This is just a wide angle lens, period. It cannot replicate ultra wide, absolutely not. And it cannot replicate telephoto. So if you are okay with that, maybe you don't take a lot of photos, or maybe in those situations, you'll just be like, well, you'll just accept it. Whoop-dee-doo, right? All right, let's discuss the camera or cameras. I mean, the selfie camera is absolutely fire, but the thing about the selfie camera is you get it on every single iPhone that's available. But I absolutely love the selfie camera. And then we have this solid 48 megapixel wide angle camera, but I don't like to just talk about it. I like to show you. So when it comes to using this device, the front-facing camera and its best offer in 4K 60, this is the best quality you can get. And this is typical usage of a front-facing camera. Usually most people do vertical video with this, but the beauty this year with all iPhone cameras, not just anything exclusive to the iPhone Air, I'm gonna be honest, when it comes to cameras, I can only show you the quality that you get out of the iPhone Air. I can't really show you value propositions to persuade you to this device over any of the other iPhone offerings in the 17 series, just being straight up. Okay, so the coolest thing on the iPhone Air, or just, the iPhones in general, the full 17 series, is the fact that I can hold my device in vertical mode, yet I'm shooting horizontal, which is super duper convenient. It's one of the best features to every iPhone 17 series. But again, it's nothing I can sell you on the iPhone Air other than the quality. All right, using the rear camera. This is the 48 megapixel wide angle lens, which is phenomenal. It's fire. The only downside is I don't have telephoto access, or what seems to be the favorite of the audience, the ultra wide. So yes, your field of view is limited going with the iPhone Air, but the quality is not, as you guys can see. Very good quality with the iPhone Air as far as the single camera and the front-facing camera go. All right, using that same 48 megapixel, phenomenal rear-facing camera that you guys just saw, but with a face in it. And this is an overcast day. I'm outside. I'm actually outside. The sun's trying to peek through a little bit in between those nice thick gray clouds and whatnot. But the quality on the iPhone Air is enough. So if you do not require anything more than just a wide angle lens, and you can, reduce yourself to that, then you can do the iPhone Air from a camera perspective and be realistically satisfied. You have to have realistic expectations. You have to know what this device offers. And it's just that complaining about what it doesn't offer when you knew it had nothing more to offer is pointless. Okay, so I gave you guys some visual representation of the camera performance. Also, I can speak to the camera from a perspective of, like I told you guys when I was at the event, and I was trying to get certain photos and things like that, video. And just over this time, I've been able to get, you know, cool little video shots and solid photos. Also, I've curbed my expectations. I don't have 17 Pro or Pro Max camera expectations. I can't do log and things like that. So I have to, you know, really tone down what I'm used to as far as coming from that device. Someone coming from a regular iPhone, you have the same wide, so nothing's gonna feel different. You're just gonna feel that lack of the ultra wide, right? And like I said earlier, the iPhone 17 is offering you this camera with an ultra wide. You're not getting that here, and the 17 Pro and 17 Pro Max obviously gives you that ultra wide along with the telephoto. So if you're able to curb your expectations and become a camera minimalist, then you can get your camera on with the iPhone Air. But if that bothers you, or if that will be a pain point, this is not the phone for you, period. This is a very minimalistic, luxe, niche device, which is probably why it may or may not continue. I don't know. I saw some reports saying that they're already cutting back on production numbers due to low sales. But again, headlines mean nothing, because a lot of times someone's going to put a spicy headline just to get you to click and view it. So I'll take that with a grain of salt. We'll see next year if Apple renews this, or when the true sale numbers actually do come out, and we'll see how many units of this move. Because I don't know, I see some enthusiasm, but I have been handing this device to people who are curious about it. Some normal like phone users, I've heard some of their remarks. Like, you know, it's a gray area. It's not a, oh, it's not a, it's a, So that's very much what the iPhone Air is. Now that I've gotten those elephants out of the room, let's talk about the device. As you guys can see, build quality on this thing is top tier. I've been using it absolutely caseless. Actually, my ecosystem is typically my Apple Wallet on the back. So that way I got my most important cards that I need. And this is typically how I'm going. But I'm not going to lie. This right here without the Apple Wallet is the more, like, you know, how can I say it? Like, breathtaking experience. It's the Air experience without anything on it, if you can go that route. But I need my wallet. I need my, you know, I need my license and my, you know, important card. So, but build quality, as you guys can see, holding up like a tank. Absolutely. No case, no screen protector, none of that. Like, this is what I'm doing. Let's see if I scratch this screen, because you guys know, if you don't know, I tend to scratch Apple screens. Hold on. Give it a good wipe down. Go to the black screen and we will inspect. Oh, I thought I found one. No. Okay, so no scratches on the iPhone Air, although I've scratched my 17 Pro Max already. So yes, I'm speaking to you guys as someone who has a 17 Pro Max in their possession, but it's on the bench right now. I'm not really touching this device or using it other than pro camera, you know, implementation. Now, if I put this, I can show you guys, there's a hairline scratch right here at the top on the 17 Pro Max, unfortunately. And that's very unfortunate, considering, you know, all of the boasts about the glass. But again, it's glass and glass can scratch, but I have no scratches, no dents, no issues with my iPhone Air thus far. Taking me to the screen. You guys know this thing, if you don't know, has ProMotion on it. Look, I got my reminder for me to actually record this review. Finally doing it. Let me go ahead and mark that as completed. Got to stay on top of your get down, right? So this screen on here is really nice. It's what you expect out of a premium iPhone device. Going into screen and usability and watching content and consuming things, it looks great. It's typical iPhone, you know, color accuracy and whatnot. Now, we're going to get into another elephant. It's a single speaker, yo. And if you're watching vertical content, absolutely does not bother you at all. But the second you go here and you're watching something 16:9, and that sound is specifically over here to your left side, if you hold your device like this, which is typically how I hold it, if you hold it this way, it's going to populate your right side. Listen, yo, I'm gonna be real. A lot of people will not like that. A lot of people will not conform to that, especially for 16:9 viewing. Vertical, it does not bother you at all. But the second you go here, it becomes the utmost apparent that you literally have one speaker and it's off balance. So I'm alarming you to all of the realities of the Air from a real user experience. If you want stereo speakers and you like balance, if you're like one of those people who you love things to be balanced, it's not balanced here. Unless you're just a vertical only type of consumer. So TikTok, Instagram, things like that, Twitter and so forth, and you keep your device vertical, it will not bother you. The second you go to 16:9, YouTube videos and things like that, again, you can live with it, but and honestly, Apple, if you bring back the Air, you have to do stereo speakers. That's just period. And you might have to do a second camera. You know what I mean? I'm just calling it as it is. Let's carry on into just platform performance. Like performance of this thing, I don't feel like I'm using anything inferior or less than, say, a Pro device or the regular device at all. This thing is on par performance-wise with all of its other, counterparts. No issues there. What does it all boil down to? The user experience, and what is it like owning and using exclusively the iPhone Air for more than a month up to this point? As someone who values the lightness, the thinness, and the minimalist whole point of this device, I enjoy that aspect to the fullest. Again, I'm rolling with this. I'm gonna show you guys my ecosystem. This is on here, and this is my Android of choice right now. So this combination right here is a lot thinner and a lot lighter than if I were to go with this combo, which would entail this right here. Let me set it up right in this. And that's a lot more going on. Probably not the case. I wouldn't you have the case on there. Actually, let's get this case off of here, you guys. If I'm keeping it a buck, that's the thin-born case. Great aramid fiber case of choice if you want. But this would be my combo right here. Boom, boom. A lot more heft, but I have Pro covered on both devices if I go with this right here. For a single device, let's just be real. The honeymoon phase, when every creator was selling you on this device, they had this device in the cut. They had this device in case this device didn't live up. You guys, the reality is you guys won't have a 17 Pro Max sitting on the side. If I sell you on the iPhone Air, then the iPhone Air is all you have. That's why I'm being as upfront about the reality of this device from my user experience using this thing over a long term. And I just got to keep it upfront with you. So that way you're not like just purchasing this and then you're coming into the shortcomings. You're like, well, you didn't tell me about this. Listen, a lot of people didn't. And then a lot of people pointed it out and over dramatized it. You can live with one camera. You can live with a single speaker. You can live with the smallest battery out of the lineup. And you can live with the iPhone Air as long as your lifestyle and your user experience, your use cases, your user workload, and, the things that you get to help offset that all are, realistic. So you're not going to get this device and be like, oh, I'm going heavy usage and I don't have things to charge it throughout the day. That's stupid. Like, come on, bro. Are you... I almost called you stupid, but I'm not. I'm just going to say that's stupid. You're not going to get this device and go and, have full focal length reach from your camera. That's stupid. You get what the point is. You get what the point means. You're not going to get this device and enjoy a stereo audio experience. You're not going to get that typical iPhone audio. That's stupid. So, again, how are people complaining about what they already know this device does not have? Like, if you got this device, you knew what it was. And if you didn't know, I'm telling you what it is. And you are set up to live with it. So, I don't want to sell you on an iPhone Air with a 17 Pro Max in the cut just in case I get tired of this or whatever and I got something to bail me out. I want to tell you about this device as is, with me using it as is as my main device, period. SIM card locked in, boom. Again, I love the upside. I love how light it is. I love how slim it is. I love how it helps me carry two devices in a more comfortable manner. I love how it still feels like an iPhone user experience. I don't love the lack of stereo speakers. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like having like the ultra wide in addition to just the wide, that would like really bring it home because, hey, you doing hotel shows for your family. Oh, look at my room. Ultra wide would be clutch, I think we could get by without the telephoto. You put an ultra wide in here, you put dual speakers, And the Air is in a different category and a different point of discussion. But without those, the conversation is around the compromises. And then the conversation is around the ideal target audience. If you are already aligned with this device, if you love this device, I need you in the comment section. I need you to let me know your user experience. I like this device. I like the device. I like the iPhone Air. I don't love it. And the reason why I can't say that I love it is because there are those pain points right there, and I don't want to mislead anyone. So I like this phone. I like it a lot. I almost love it. Some people will argue you need a larger battery. I don't know. Like, I think putting a large battery would ruin the whole Air aspect of it if it has to get, thicker or whatever. I mean, you could make it, let's see, you could make it 17 Pro Max, height with the same slimness and extend that battery by a little bit. I would take that, honestly. Actually, I would argue that's probably the move. And then if you could get the second camera because of that, that is the move. So 1 month later with the iPhone Air, where will my SIM card continue to live? Or my eSIM? It's going to continue to be here. So I will be updating you guys with more long-term, thoughts on this after using it longer. And I will update you guys if I do ever decide to go back here. But again, I don't want to speak to the iPhone Air as someone with a backup, which is exactly why I'm really committed to keeping my eSIM here. And honestly, for my personal user experience, keeping my eSIM here has been absolutely fine. That's as someone who's typically a Pro Max user. But again, here's the reality. I carry 2 devices. I got my Android for the powerhouse stuff when I need it, my Z Fold 7. So that's also unfair. I got to keep it a buck. So I always want to be transparent about what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. And you guys should have known. Every time I've spoken about the iPhone Air, I've always brought the Z Fold 7 into the conversation because that's my reality. I carry 2 phones all the time, and that's not going to change. But when I've been traveling, when I've been really wanting to speak to this device, I've literally been using it exclusively. So on my recent trip, when I was in LA with YouTube, I was on this device exclusively. So that tells you everything. The iPhone Air, for me, it's a gray area. And that's just what it is.